Welcome to another episode of That Arrow Show. This week's episode, Taken. Alright, we get into it. No good, no bad, no Laurel. There's a lot to cover. We got a lot of stuff to talk about.
I would like to start with the fact that we could have made so many jokes about Green Arrow being Liam Neeson and all of that with the title of the show.
I mean, we even have Katie Cassidy, who was in Taken.
Exactly. But we're just going to bypass all of that because there's so much to tell.
We got too much. It's just too much to go. I need you to go first.
All right, let's start with the intro. Started with a happy couple moment between Oliver and Felicity. Love the Olicity stuff. And then in comes Damien Dark to ruin their happy moment.
But not before they jumped into a flashback. They must really wanted to get those flashbacks out of the way.
I mean, those flashbacks are just so much important, aren't they?
Shout out to the woman in the flashback with Oliver. I mean, you need to stop wearing those Martha Stewart clothes.
Ooh. We know, okay? It doesn't hide it.
I mean, between you and Vixen, I had the favorite.
Okay, and as we were talking about with Damien Dark, he ruins their happy Olicity moment, letting Felicity know that Oliver has a son, and he has him. So that was a good opening to me, in my opinion.
He was on his A game. He was cocky. Yeah. He knew what was up. He was like, I got William. Let's get this shit popping.
He had to make up for Street Fighter Legend of Chun-Li. I mean, he won't let that bison roll go. He's like, I can do it better.
And we've been kind of keeping this joke to ourselves. He even threw the wheelchair joke in there.
I think it's bad when the villain points out the obvious flaw in Felicity being in a wheelchair and why she hasn't upgraded to the
motorized.
Exactly, considering that she is the tech person, you know, that just seemed kind of ironic.
I mean, it's just going to make sense when the show returns and Felicity is just kind of swole for no reason. I mean, she's been pushing herself around, so it's going to make sense.
And that's not even the only fourth wall break of the episode, which we will get into in a little bit.
There is no fourth wall.
Thanks, Deadpool.
Okay, so this is the episode where we threw all the cards out on the table. Now everybody knows Oliver has a son. So
yeah, Felicity knows. And I got to give props to her because when she first found out, we saw the anger in her body and everything. But when everyone else came to the lair and we found out that William was gone, she just said a 10-year-old boy. Just notice that she said that. So she didn't even divulge to them that Oliver had a son.
She had some shade in her. Like,
but I think that she respected the secret, though.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Better than Oliver, but we'll get to that in a moment.
And then you had Diggle, like, he's looking at it, he's like, glad this ain't me. I don't know anything about this. I was on a crossover last night. And my helmet still looks like ass, so I gotta talk to Cisco because
I know where my kids are.
What the fuck? Except for last night when you were walking around with your wife and no baby, and I was asking, where's the baby? I need to know where the baby is. Why isn't the baby with you? Is the baby in Central City with you guys? So obviously you don't know where your baby is.
The baby was with the babysitter, who is...
Okay, and then there was Laurel's reaction. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, we shit on Laurel all the time.
A lot.
A lot! But I was expecting more with Laurel's reaction. But it was funny when he revealed William was his son, and then they did a shot to Laurel, and you can literally see her do the math in her head before Samantha walked in the room and dropped all the dimes on the floor.
Without even being provoked or anything, it's like Laurel asked her what the weather was, and she said, I dated Oliver when you were going with him. It was only one time, and we had our baby. I knew about you the whole time. And I'm like, really? All she asked was it hot outside? I mean...
Let's talk about that for a second. Let's talk about how Samantha got down to the lair in the first place.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, the disrespecting of the secret. Okay, let's get into the fact that Oliver revealed that he was the Green Arrow to Samantha. I thought the point of moving to a new cave was to keep people out of the cave. The point is, too many people have been in the cave. Everybody has a key now, including Samantha. And let's talk about Samantha for a minute. Oh my God.
Basic does not even describe her.
I'm gonna say this. Like, it's really hard to want to help your son when you basically throw your affair up into the faces of the ladies that Oliver also drilled at one point in his life.
I mean, there were so many people in that cave, in the Arrow Cave, that Oliver had sex with. I almost threw Thea into the category, and I had to remember that's his sister.
They're gonna have to scrub that cave down with gonorrhea because I'm pretty sure he spreaded it all over the
But on top of that, okay, wow. This must have been the Let's Make Laurel Look Good episode because Samantha was the worst. I mean, I actually felt bad for Laurel. I know, shocker of all shockers. I'll never say that again unless Samantha comes back. But I'm not afraid to say it. I fucking hated this bitch today.
Mama Queen did the right thing when he broomed her fast and paid her
She
off.
knew. Mama Queen, you knew.
Mama knows.
Mama knows. All right, now let's get into what we really want to talk about that we made so much fanfare about last week, which was the introduction of Vixen. How did you guys think it was handled?
Please don't say Vixen and handle in the same sentence. Going on.
I think we know your answer. I gotta say, I like her on the show. She was a really pretty good introduction. I don't think they failed her. I do have some quips about how she was used, such as special effects. I mean, that's the same fuss we have over with the Flash anyway.
Okay, I'm gonna say some things. Vixen literally jumped on this show and she became what I like to call the character that is there for exposition. Like, everything out of her mouth was a story about some background that we probably didn't need to know at the moment.
Yeah, it was pretty much a promotion to go watch the CWC Vixen special. So a lot of references to things that were in the cartoon if you didn't watch it. And if you were confused about some things, then it would prompt you to go watch the CWC show.
There was even a nifty commercial towards the end of the episode telling you to go watch Vixen on CWC.
It was. So we got our introduction to Vixen, and Oliver basically sets up this backstory saying that they fought an enemy together. Who exactly was his enemy?
Was that not in the animated series?
It was not in the animated series that I remember. Maybe we should go check it out again. I don't know.
And we'll probably have to catch that on Legends of Tomorrow.
Another day.
Please don't put her on Legends of Tomorrow. That show sucks.
Anyway, something about Vixen that really turned me off, speaking of the animated show on CWC, was Oliver's fourth wall break when they asked Oliver how do him and Vixen know each other, and his answer was, "We had an animated encounter last year."
So, on a final note with Vixen, overall, I think it was a decent introduction. It's a CW show, of course, you can use some work, but I like the actress playing her, so I think that's a good inclusion. I actually like the necklace, the totem.
Yeah,
it looked pretty good.
mm-hmm. Very comic accurate.
Yeah, and Vixen sniffing the toy, I think that was kind of funny. The toy of Barry, the Flash.
You know, that's not how her powers work. She doesn't just sniff a toy and then automatically knows where someone is in the city. But neither here nor there.
Okay, so last week, the episode involved some filler villains for some filler plot that we didn't care about. And the fight choreography was great. I would almost say that Arrow was back on track. And then this episode came along and they just shat all over that progress. Every fight in this episode was piss poor garbage. I think the only thing that stood out in all of those fight scenes was when Thea jumped off the bike before Laurel could parallel park it and snipe two guys. Other than that, like, they're having these low speed chases with the bike because apparently Thea and Laurel have to ride on that fuck around gang in action as usual, and like these lousy fights played that up. You know, you had Damien Dark throwing these haymakers that make Balrog from Street Fighter look like Floyd Mayweather. You know, stop that.
That's how you fight.
Yeah, the fights really just weren't hitting it this time. Fuck Around Gang, they fought the villains, the minor villains. We had to count on Oliver and Vixen to fight Damien, which in straight up fight, it really wasn't fair because we've seen several times how Damien can overpower them physically. So he just used magic most of the time, which got boring pretty quickly.
Like, it just failed on so many levels considering, one, this was supposed to be the episode that we were supposed to watch before this hiatus, which doesn't end until the end of March. Two, you were supposed to show off Vixen, and, you know, if you're trying to sell us on this character, shitty fight choreography isn't going to do it. I would say that with a lot of things that Damien Dark did that were, you know, I would say genius in this episode in regards to his villainy or whatever. There were a lot of things he did that were questionable, including that. Let's backtrack to the first fight he had with Vixen and Oliver. So he uses his mind and throws Oliver out of the building.
Yeah.
Mari catches him, and then Thea and Laurel pop in. I forget her name. I'm sorry. She's just so bad. So, okay, all of that going into question. Where did Damien Dark go?
He teleported?
Can he do that?
I think he can.
Did Laurel and Thea pass him on the hall and say, "Oh, we'll get him later"? I mean, I would believe it if they did, considering.
Uh-oh, there goes a high-level boss. Let's just act like we don't see him.
Probably hid behind a bush. Hey, guys, we gotta talk about Malcolm.
You mean Nubs?
Yeah, we do. I mean, Thea, you straight up said that these were your words. We know that you told Damien Dark about William. So he's got one arm. He clearly can't defend himself. Why don't you just kick the shit out of him? I mean, like, I'm serious. He walks in your house and he's defenseless. Just beat him to death. I mean, I don't understand. I don't get it.
I mean, he comes off just... He's not a villain anymore. Like,
he's really not.
Exactly.
He's a neuter
you don't
man.
have an army. You're one hand short.
You wear the same leather jacket since you got your arm cut off, and I think it's because you can't take it off.
It's just like now he's just doing petty shit because he lost his kingdom or something, and it's like he's throwing these threats out, and I'm like, not only do I don't believe you, but I don't take you seriously, and as a matter of fact, it's laughable, and I'm going to use both hands to open this door and let you out.
Before we get to the final thing, just one quick note. Something that made this episode seem a little off and awkward, and I think the only excuse was because everybody and their mother was in this episode, so they probably couldn't afford her. Where was Damien's wife? Didn't it just seem kind of awkward that she wasn't there?
They said her name twice, so I mean, Oliver conceded his campaign to her, and she couldn't even show up. I mean,
she didn't have a response.
Exactly.
Nothing.
She was probably
They didn't even.
chill.
There wasn't even. I just caught that. But they didn't even show like her on TV with an announcement. Okay, let's go ahead and get to the final elephant in the room. The end with Felicity. Cedric, you may have the floor.
Oh, really? Thanks.
Yeah.
All right. So as we mentioned, the show started off with good Olicity moment as far as Felicity trying to walk with the implant from Curtis. We saw that she struggled and had a hard time and couldn't do it. Just couldn't do it. And then at the end of the show, she hated Oliver's guts so much that she had to walk out on his bitch ass.
Well, God said I could walk just one time. I was saving it for Susie's wedding day, but...
As silly and corny as that was, Oliver was so stupid this entire episode. He was fucking stupid. Here's my question. I've been holding this in the entire episode. I've been holding this in since it initially happened. Oliver, Anita, Queen. what was your plan to get married, live a long life with Felicity, and every now and again be like, oh, I gotta go to the store, and then go to Central City and visit your son? Seriously, how long did you thought this was gonna last? Seriously, answer that question. Oliver Queen, answer that question. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. Overall, I mean, we're going on break now, so we're gonna be on break till like March 23rd. I don't know if this was the episode to go on break on. I think the only thing that made going on break, I think the only big moment that everybody was supposed to go on break with was, oh my God, Felicity walked out on Oliver. But other than that, and the Vixen stuff, probably could have kept this one.
It would have been a perfect episode if they didn't fuck up the fight choreography. Like, this would have been a very good episode, and keeping the whole Felicity gets up and walks away from the relationship, literally and figuratively. If you could have kept all of that. If they had hired the fight choreographer from last week to make this episode better, then this would have been the perfect episode to go out on. We could have showed off Vixen better. We could have showed off Damien Dark a little better. I mean, he's this big bad guy, and now he's pretty much out of the loop now. Like, he's nothing now.
Yeah. So we basically have two big boss villains who are now minor villains, Damien Dark and Malcolm Merlin, I guess, who are probably going to team up at some point to help each other out. Who knows? Whatever. Season's not over. Someone's going to end up in a grave. Felicity's going to be mad. Oliver has to kill somebody. I honestly, I don't know who's in the grave at this point. But overall, it was an okay episode.
Yeah.
All right, so as you guys know, Mark Guggenheim pretty much teased the photo of the Olicity wedding, basically showing that and he also said that it's not an alternate reality, alternate timeline, not a dream sequence, and basically alluding that it's going to happen. So Felicity putting the ring down in a contrived love thing. I don't know what
He
to say.
should have done that, because now you took the sting out of this episode.
Yeah, because for all anyone watching Arrow knows that doesn't follow him on Twitter or whatever, this shit could have lasted for 2 more seasons and then they finally get married. So unless the real stinger is going to be, because let's be real, they gonna get married on the season finale. Let's be real. That's what is gonna happen.
And
so the stinger's gotta be.
Hold on. You forgot the big, cliche of the wedding getting interrupted.
That's what I'm saying.
And it might or
That's
might
what I
not
was about to
happen.
say.
They did it on Smallville. They've done it on every soap opera ever. And it will probably be Damien Dark that interrupts the wedding.
You think they really continue him as the villain into next season?
I mean, he's gone this
We have
far.
2 potential villains. Look, Oliver, Felicity, just go away to a hidden beach, get married, get it over with. All right.
Exactly.
All right.
All right, so that's it, everyone. Tonight's episode, we're going on hiatus, but
Be sure to check out our old reviews and some of our other Arrow content.
and look for more content from us. Just because Arrow's going on hiatus doesn't mean we're going on hiatus. We may have a couple of videos coming out, maybe some theory videos, maybe some videos talking about other DC Comics related shows and what we feel about them. You never know. Just keep watching the channel. All right, everybody, we are out. I can't do it, Joe. I don't know if I want to be the Flash.
Calm down, Bear.
I can't do it.
Run, Barry.
Iris,
Run,
she
Barry.
doesn't love me.
She never will.